Everyone, please stand. Mr. Roebuck, would you please stand for the
Oh,
joint?
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Oh, everyone may be seated. Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is now in session. The court is in session with the case State of Texas versus Leo Randall Jr. Cause number 331042. Let the record reflect that Mr. Leo Randall Jr. is present in court with his attorney. The state is present with assistant district attorneys. And let the record also reflect that your jury is now present in the courtroom. State, are you ready?
Thank you, ready on.
Defense, are you ready?
We're ready.
Mr. Johnson, would you please,
Please, court. Fence and votes rules.
oh, we have any witnesses in the courtroom? Any,
We have witnesses here, Your Honor. We've advised them that the rule may be invoked. We can bring them in at this point, or we can do them as we go through the witnesses, Your Honor. It's up to the court, whichever way. I can go get them.
okay, yeah, let's do that. Now, the young lady that's sitting in the back, is she a witness?
No.
She's not? Okay.
Would you like them to confirm?
Yes, they can come up before the bench.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, you can stand in front of the bench. Okay. Okay. Witnesses, the rule have been invoked. You are ordered to leave the courtroom and not re-enter unless instructed to do so by the bailiff or me. You are not to discuss this case or your testimony with other witnesses or anyone else except the attorneys. You are not to read any report or comment on the testimony or evidence in this case. Any witness violating this instruction is subject to being held in contempt of court. Does everyone understand? Okay. You may exit the courtroom. Mr. Johnson, would you like to present the information?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Randall, would you please stand?
In the matter of the state of Texas versus Leo Randall, cause number 331-042, misdemeanor charge, failure to conduct, the information reads: in the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, comes now the undersigned Assistant Criminal District Attorney of Jefferson County, Texas, on behalf of the state of Texas, and presents in and to the County Court at Law of Jefferson County, Texas, that in Jefferson County, Texas, Leo Randall Jr. hereafter shall be defended heretofore on or about October 25th, 2021, did then and there unlawfully and recklessly engage in conduct that placed Veronica Fisher, hereafter styled the complainant, in immediate and imminent danger of serious bodily injury, namely by pointing a gun at complainant against the peace and dignity of the state.
Mr. Randall, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
Okay, you may be seated. Now, at this time, Mr. Johnson, would you like to make an opening statement?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
May it please the court.
Yes, you may proceed.
Ladies and gentlemen of the court, today I stand behind you. We stand before you on behalf of the state of Texas to seek justice for a victim who was subject to a heinous and potentially life-threatening act of violence. On October 21st, 2021, we believe the evidence will show that on October 25th, 2021, the defendant was the victim in this case, Ms. Veronica Fisher, was sitting in her driveway trying to connect her phone to a loaner car that she had, because her car was just bought a new car and her car was being worked on. And so she was sitting in her driveway trying to connect her Bluetooth, as I often forget to do and try to do it at a red light. She was sitting in her car trying to do the responsible thing, connect her phone to her Bluetooth so she can go about her day, handle her business, and pay some bills. While she was sitting in her vehicle, she was looking down at her phone, looking at the console on the car, and we believe she will testify that she saw out of her peripheral her neighbor, the defendant, Mr. Leo Randall Jr., back down his driveway, slower than she thought was comfortable, and that when he pulled off in front of her, pointed a gun out of his window at her, and in a threatening manner, and placed her in imminent fear of serious bodily injury. We believe that the evidence will show and testimony will show that he has known the defendant for some time. They actually went to high school together, and that they weren't best friends. They weren't on the best of terms, and that she believes the defendant trying to intimidate her, threaten her by pointing the gun, and that since that day and since that time, she has been scared, uncomfortable to go to and stay at the one place that we kind of all believe is at the height of our home, our own home, our castle. We believe that she would testify that since that specific moment, or after that specific moment, she went directly to the police station, and since then her life has changed. She not comfortable when she goes home. She has to call her husband when he's coming in or when she's leaving, just to make sure that he's there, because she just doesn't feel comfortable in her own home. because she has a neighbor who, finds it so fitting to engage in this type of deadly conduct. And as you can imagine, this has to be a deeply traumatic experience, as I believe, the testimony will show that, again, since this time, her life has changed, and not for the better. She is still, to this day, scared and traumatized about that experience, with someone who lives very close, to her next door neighbor. I believe, during voir dire, I kind of talked about some of the elements that the state has approved beyond a reasonable doubt, to successfully make our case against the defendant, Mr. Randall Jr. We believe the evidence will show that beyond a reasonable doubt, that the defendant, Mr. Leo Randall Jr., on or about October 25th, 2021, in Jefferson County, Texas, specifically in Port Arthur, unlawfully and recklessly engaged in conduct that placed the complainant here, the victim here, Ms. Veronica Fisher, in imminent danger of serious bodily injury. I believe that she would testify that at the time she was speechless and had to take a moment to compose herself, just to drive to the police station to file this report about what happened. And that fear still lingers to this day. It's still very, very uncomfortable to this day. I hope it goes without saying that the state of Texas state sees types of allegations and charges very seriously. And although there was no physical violence that ensued from this specific incident, incidents like these can potentially lead down the road and just ask for everyone, make it very unsafe or foster a very unsafe environment and community. So after we put on our evidence, put on our testimony, we believe that we're asking that the 6 of you find beyond a reasonable doubt that we have satisfied all these elements that, as I just brought again, that the defendant recently Randall Jr. On or about October 25th, 2021, in Jefferson County, Texas, unlawfully and recklessly engaged in conduct that placed Ms. Veronica Fisher, the victim claimed in this case, in imminent danger of serious bodily injury by driving past her while she's sitting in her own driveway, getting ready to go handle her business, pay her bills, and pointed a gun at her, and that disrupted not only her day, instead of heading to wherever she goes, pay her bills, bank or wherever, she had to go to the police department and explain why she no longer feels safe at home. Again, I want to thank you for your service and we look forward to presenting our case.
Mr. Roebuck, would you like to make an open statement?
I would.
Okay, you may proceed.
Please. Good morning, folks. I'm gonna talk about reasonable doubt every time I open. Because that's the state's burden. It's not our burden, it's their burden to establish every element of defense beyond a reasonable doubt. My job is still with there is reasonable doubt. I'm also telling you again that there is what we call presumption of innocence. Presuming innocent. One of the things that happens in the process of preparing a case for trial is we get what's called discovery from the government. We don't get to go out and interview complaining witnesses and stuff like that. That creates all kinds of issues. So we have to rely on the state provide witness statements, offense reports, and those sorts, and when they provide that to us. We don't have, in defending the case, we don't generate those statements. We don't have any info. So it's not like somebody goes and gets a statement from somebody and it's misread, misinterpreted, those sorts of things. It's all generated by law enforcement. So what happened here? This alleged event occurred, according to the complainant, at about 12:25 p.m. on October the 25th, 2021. These folks are next door, got a long history, and I get along with each other. Complainant suggested that Mr. Randall had trespassed on the complainant and Mr. Randall got into a civil lawsuit over Mr. Randall's windshield getting broken because, according to the complainant, her husband was using lawn to get his windshield. She ends up paying $400. So she's not a happy camper with Mr. Randall. So this alleged event occurred. Police come out less than an hour after the alleged event. She gives handwritten statement where she says in that handwritten statement she was backing out of her driveway. Mr. Randall backs out of his driveway, pulls in front of her house, stops, sticks his hand out the window and points a gun at her. She tells the police officer Simmons, who was that same story. And she says at that point in time, aha, there is a video, the doorbell. It'll show her. So she goes and reviews the video and then gives statement number 2, which changed. I didn't have anything to do with that. Didn't go interview her. You sitting there talking to the police, tells them her story. Neither one of those statements does she suggest that she feels threatened, in imminent danger of harm. None of that. None of that's even brought up. Either one of those statements. Then she gives statement number 3, which says, I don't say something. I was assaulted by being deadly conduct, gun pointed at me, which caused me pain and bodily injury. You just heard Mr. Johnson say there wasn't any. Reasonable doubt. If you're gonna charge somebody with a crime, it's subject them to a $4,000 fine and go into jail for you, then you better have your ducks in a row. It's our position this woman is mad about the $400 she had, but ongoing dispute. And this created a prime opportunity to do it. Are we going to have any other evidence but her testimony? You'll see the video. doesn't show much. What it doesn't show is anybody's arm sticking out of the window. But it shows her driving, not back up, but fully forward out of the driveway. If you get that sort of elementary fact wrong, you're either making something up or not very observant. And you folks shouldn't be placed in the situation of saying, well, my gosh, he must have committed a crime, because she said so. Look forward to presenting the case to you. Thank you.
Mr. Johnson, you can call your first witness, Mr. Porter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Porter. Could you turn the podium, face the witness?
The state's called Veronica Fisher.
Yes, would it
Good exhibits.
over? One for the state and
Can I take this?
Ms. Fisher, would you please come forward?
No.
Ms. Fisher, would you please come forward? Ms. Fisher, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Fisher, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Ms. Fisher, you may take the witness stand and you could adjust the mic in the chair. Mr. Johnson, you may go forward.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Mr. Fisher. You just met, my name is Mark Johnson, I'm the prosecutor here in Jefferson County. How are you doing? Could you state your full name for the jury, please? Thank you, Ms. Fisher. Just a couple of preliminary matters.
Hold on. Just that mic, Ms. Fisher, could you speak up?
No.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to get into. If you could speak clearly, not only for my sake, but for the jury's sake, and also for the court reporter's sake. She's trying to do a very important job and take down everything that we're saying. So the more clear you speak, the better it is for everyone. Also, I would ask that you and I can't talk over each other because the court reporter can't jot down two people talking at one time. So I would ask politely that You wait until I finish my question to state your answer, and I will try my very best to let you, get out your full answer before I interrupt or cut you off or anything like that. Just again, so, your testimony is comprehensible to everyone in the courtroom and also the court. Is that okay?
Yes,
Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry, can you state your name one more time for the jury?
Veronica Fisher,
Ms. Fisher, where do you live?
1730 14th Street in Port Arthur, Texas,
And that's in Jefferson County, correct?
Jefferson County, Texas.
And how long have you been living there?
I was raised, it was my parents' home, and they passed away, they left it to me.
And so you say you stand there your whole life?
No, I got married in 81,
Mhm.
and I moved back home in 15,
Okay,
back to Port Arthur.
okay. And what do you do for work?
I work for the Jefferson County Correctional Facility,
And what's your role?
a correction officer,
And how long have you been doing this?
for a total of 28 years.
Congratulations. What are some of your kind of daily duties? What is your job?
Could you repeat that, please?
Sure. What are some of your daily duties, responsibilities, day to day? I'm sure the days are different, but what is like kind of like a typical day at work?
At work, I deal with the pretrial inmates as well as the public. I do visitation. I'm in the visitation department.
Okay, okay,
So we just make sure that they, comply to the policy and procedures of the facility.
and to back up a little bit, what's your education?
I have a associate's degree in accounting clerk, and I have associate's degree in basic jails.
Okay, and you went to high school in Port Arthur, I'm guessing?
Yes,
Okay,
I did.
and you and your husband, how long have y'all been married? You said 81, you said, y'all were married?
Well, yeah, that was my first marriage.
Okay, your husband,
And,
your current husband, how long have y'all been married?
it's going on 2 years.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay, I want to get into the day of October 25th, 2021. What do you remember about that day?
I remember taking my vehicle. We had recently purchased a vehicle, and the dealership had us to bring it back that day so that they could do a protective coating on the vehicle, so they gave us a loan us.
Okay, and when you say we, I mean you and your husband.
Yes, my husband.
Okay,
And upon returning home, I dropped him back. I dropped him home, and I was getting ready to leave to go pay bills. And I stopped at the edge of my driveway so that I could pair my phone to the Bluetooth in the vehicle, but I was reading. I had my head down, I was reading since it was recently purchased, I wasn't familiar with it. So I was trying to learn how to program my phone.
okay, and if I can stop you, and when you say you're sitting in the driveway, where is this? What's the address of where your home is, where you're sitting in the driveway?
1730 14th Street in Port Arthur, Texas.
And where are they in Jefferson County?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, and so you're sitting in your car, you have your phone trying to connect it to the Bluetooth. It's a loaner car, but are you saying because it's the same car that you got, you're trying to figure out how you're going to figure everything out?
Right.
Okay, so jump back into where you are. You're sitting in the car, your hair down, trying to pair your phone to the car. Please go ahead.
Yes, I was, reading the instructions that was coming up on it. So I had my head down like this.
Your Honor, I'm gonna kind of want to nip this in the bud, but he's testifying, leading the witness, and I would object to that.
Objection is, well,
I was jumping back into, to where she was, reorienting her.
I think I'm overrule the objection. I think what he just repeated what she had previously said.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you may go forward,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jones.
Sweet. Okay, I kind of got off a little bit, could you start back to where you have your head down, fixing, pairing your phone, to the car?
Yes, sir. I had my head down because it was, giving me instructions on the screen in the vehicle. And it was telling me what I needed to do to pair it. And, while I had my head down, in my peripheral vision, I saw, my neighbor backing up, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
But I kept my head down, doing what I was doing.
And can I stop you right there? Who's your neighbor?
The Randalls.
Okay, and, do you see your neighbor in this courtroom, today?
Yes,
Could you, point them out and describe an article of clothing you're wearing?
yes. Leo Randall.
Okay, could you describe something that he's wearing, just for the record? Could you describe an article of clothing that he's wearing, just for the record? Like describe something that he has on?
Right now,
Yes, ma'am.
oh, the blue shirt with the checkered tie.
Your Honor, we ask that the record reflect that, the witness has identified, the defendant in this case, Your Honor.
The record will so reflect. You may proceed.
Okay, jumping right back in. So you got your head down and you say you see your, neighbor, Mr. Randall, they're backing out of the driveway?
Yes, I saw the car moving backwards in my peripheral
Okay,
vision.
and how are you positioned? Can you describe the positioning of your, of your driveway and your neighbor's driveway and how you were sitting? We're just trying to get a visual of, you said you have your head down, you're in your car, we're trying to get a visual, or I'm trying to get a visual for the jury of, how everything actually looks.
But our driveways are side by side,
Okay,
like that. Mine here and their side over here. And I was at the edge of my driveway. I was getting ready to drive out, but you know, you can't move the car and pair anything. So I stopped and put the car in park so that I could read and pair my phone. And in my peripheral vision on this side, I saw the car backing up,
on your,
but I never looked up.
on your right-hand side.
Yes, on my right hand side.
So you're back into your driveway.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yes. And, so I continued to try to hook the phone up, and something just made me look up. And when I looked up, I saw Mr. Randall at the edge of my driveway with a gun pointed at me.
Okay, I want to back up a little bit. If you don't mind, I know you're not an art teacher or anything like that. Would you mind maybe drawing very briefly the positioning of your house on the board right behind you? May I approach you?
Yes. There, marker.
Yes.
Hold on a minute. Get a dark marker.
Yes, Mr. I'm going to ask if you could kind of draw, and it could be stick figures with varying. I just want the jury to be able to see the positioning of your house and your driveway and where you were, and just so they can have a sense of the direction. It can be very, very brief. Nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's in my house. This is in my driveway. This could be the street. And the people for our room was like right here.
And could you draw, your neighbor's home and where his driveway is? And where you saw him backing out of? It can be very similar to how you did yours.
Okay. Their house. Their driveway is like that. And this is street. And he was like parked up here. And he started backing out.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I was serious. It could be that simple. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And so, could you proceed now that we kind of have a visual about, what's going on? So you're in the car, parked back in though. So
Yeah.
you're facing the street.
Yes, I was facing the street.
Okay, and, that's Mr. Randall, correct?
Right.
Okay, and what happened?
And I noticed the car backing out, but I kept my head down, excuse me, because I don't fool with those people. So I kept my head down and I continued to pay on my phone. And after he backed out, I noticed something just told me to look up. When I looked up, he was at the edge of my driveway with a gun pointed at me.
And so that means that, are you testifying that, could you show us and show the jury, just kind of the direction that his car would have gone, in this incident?
When he backed out, he came this way. And it was like he kind of paused a little. And I looked out and he had a gun pointed at me while I was in the car.
And what was your?
And then he just, when I looked up and he noticed that I saw him, he took off. So I called my husband because my husband was in the house. And I told him what had just happened. And he said, what?
If you don't mind not telling the jury, there's something called hearsay.
Oh,
I don't want you to tell the jury what someone else told you, if that makes sense.
right,
You could just kind of limit your testimony to, what you
right.
did and said and not really refer to what someone told you or things like that.
I understand.
Okay. So you said that when it happened, you called your husband,
Correct.
and where were you? What were you doing before this even happened? You're sitting at the edge of your driveway, fiddling with your phone, trying to get it connected. Where were you going?
My intention was to go and run some errands, pay some bills and run some errands.
Okay. And after this happened, did you do that?
No, I went straight to the police station.
Okay, so you just said you called your husband. So you called your husband as soon as it happened, and then instead of going to pay your bills and handle your business, you
I went to the police
went to
station.
the police station.
Mhm.
And why was your husband the first person you talked to? Well, let me back up. How did you feel when it first happened? Before you called your husband, before you went to the police station, how did you feel when, as you testified, the defendant rolled by you and pointed a gun at you?
I felt threatened. I felt there was a threat on my life. And I was shook up. So I was calling him to tell him what happened. You know,
And why did you feel threatened? Why did you feel?
because I was in my house in the comfort of on my property. If I'm sitting in my driveway, I mean, what would make somebody do something like that?
And you obviously know what, or in your job, do you carry a gun?
I
Or did
carry
you carry a gun at this time?
No,
Were you familiar with guns
yes,
and and so you understand just how inherently dangerous guns are.
yes, I do.
And okay, and so you felt threatened, felt like your life was threatened, that's what you said?
Yes,
And so you called your husband, and what was your main concern what was going through your mind when you called your husband the first time?
what was going through my mind is this person just threatened my life. And I'm afraid, I'm in fear for my life. You know, so I went to the police station to seek help because I'm not gonna live next door to anybody that's threatening me. Because I don't know what's on their mind. I didn't know what they're doing.
And was this all captured on camera?
Yes.
What camera?
My service is with Vivid.
Okay, could you explain what Vivid is? Because I know there's a bunch of home surveillance and security devices and things like that.
It's a security company. I think that's Avenue. But I have cameras around the house. And I have cameras on the just around the house, the perimeter of the house, so that I can know if somebody on my property,
Okay.
if someone ring the doorbell or, you know, and I could access it on my cell phone or my tablet or my laptop.
Okay, is it fair to say that Vivid is similar to Ring? I'm not sure if you're familiar with the product Ring.
Yes.
Okay, and so what camera captured this event? Where was that camera positioned on your home?
It was the doorbell camera.
Okay. May I approach on?
Yes,
So it would have been, you know, kind of in your diagram. The camera would be here.
Well, this side of the house kind of come out
Okay.
and the doorbell, yeah.
Okay, and what can the doorbell see as far as on this side? How far can it see?
It covers from the angle of that doorbell is from here to that corner of my block.
Okay,
You can see all of that.
okay. And you said, similar to the Ring, you can kind of look on your cell phone and check the different cameras.
Yes,
So and does it record?
yes,
Because-
it does.
Okay, so you were able to go back and review everything that happened that day at that time
Yes,
by looking at the old footage on your phone?
yes, sir.
And what does the video show?
The video showed him,
Objection, video's its own best evidence.
Okay. Objections to staff.
One second. Your Honor, the state would like to admit what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 1 and play and publish for the jury, a video that the witness has testified to regarding the camera video, the security video that you had on her phone the day of the incident.
Yeah, like proper predicate, but that's okay, Judge, I don't have an objection.
Okay, no objections. That's State's Exhibit number 1. Is that admitted?
I'm offered for all purposes, Your Honor. State's Exhibit number 1.
Okay. It's admitted.
Is it admitted, Your Honor?
Yes.
Court allows, get it hooked up.
Okay.
So we do have permission to publish, Your Honor.
Yes.
And this video, this video, you did review this video before today, correct?
yes,
We actually, reviewed it, in, Mr. Harfire office this morning, correct?
correct,
And is the video a true and accurate, depiction of what happened that day?
yes, sir.
Judge, we may need to.
The power.
Oh,
And this is a relatively short video, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it's about 20 seconds.
Correct.
Okay, so I may replay it a couple of times to stop, have a couple of minutes and ask you a couple of questions, okay?
That's okay.
Yeah, we might have to take a break. They're connected, it's not connected.
Okay.
The computer has them.
okay,
Allows.
okay. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're gonna take a short recess. Please follow the bailiff into the hallway. Everyone, please stand. As He was saying. Everyone may be seated. Court is back in session and calls number 331042. The case is South State of Texas versus Leo Randall Jr. Let the record reflect that Leo Randall Jr. is present in the courtroom with his attorney, Attorney Roebuck. And let the record also reflect that the state is present with Assistant District Attorney, Attorney Lamar Johnson. And let the record also reflect that the jury is now present in the courtroom. Mr. Johnson, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
Sorry about that. We're having some technical difficulties, but we got everything straight. Okay, so I wanted to jump right back in. Is this the video from your Vivid device?
Yes, sir.
And this was the video captured on October 25th, 2021, right? The day of the incident in question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna play it one time because it's very short. I'm gonna play it one time all the way through, and then I'm gonna play it again and I'm gonna stop it periodically to ask some questions, but okay?
Yes, yes, sir.
Is there any audio on this video? Is there any audio associated with this video?
I'm not certain.
Okay.
It's on.
Okay, Mr. Fisher, like I said, it's a very short video, so I'm gonna play it again, and stop it periodically to ask some questions. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. And so this is the scene that you depicted in your demonstration, right? Are you sitting in?
Mr. There's a pointer over here if you need one on the side. It's a wooden pointer right there, next to the easel, right there.
Oh. Who is in this car?
That's my driveway. I'm in that vehicle.
This is your driveway and you're in this vehicle.
Yes, sir.
And this is the loaner vehicle you just testified about?
Yes.
And what are you doing right now?
I was trying to program my phone to Bluetooth in that vehicle.
Okay, are you about to leave?
Well, no, I was in park. I was just sitting there.
Sure. But why are you sitting at the edge of the driveway?
Because I had to park the car to be able to pair it. It won't let you, if it wasn't in park, it wouldn't let me do anything.
Okay, and you testified earlier that you were headed out to pay some bills and run some errands. Is that where you're on your way to now?
Yes,
Okay. And whose house is this?
that's Mr. Randall's location.
Okay, and is this the defendant's car?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes,
best of your knowledge. And is the defendant driving this car?
yes, that was him that was in
Okay. And you testified earlier that you saw the defendant out of the peripheral of your vision. Are you talking about while he was backing up? Are you talking about this moment right here?
it. Yes.
Have you said anything or made any gesture toward the defendant at any point up until this point?
No, sir.
Do you know if his window was rolled down while he was backing out, or did he roll it down to point the gun at you?
I'm not sure.
Okay. You testified that you had your head down, and when you looked up, what did you see?
Correct. I had my head down. And something just told me to look up, and when I looked up, he had the gun pointed towards me. And when he saw that I saw him, he pulled off.
Okay, and is this the moment you looked up? This the
Yes.
moment you're describing?
Yes,
And so he pointed the gun out of this window.
yes, sir.
And can you see where he is? Or let me back up. How's the street? So the street directly in front of you, what's the name of that street?
Say that again.
What's the name of the street directly in front of you?
14th Street.
Okay. And how, could you describe the lanes, if you would, on 14th Street? As far as, are they wide, narrow, are there markers indicating,
No, there are no markers, indicating, but, it's big enough for two cars to pass.
okay. So did you find anything? How did you? Is there anything of concern to you as to the positioning of the defendant's car when he's driving down the street? I guess, let me back up. Was the defendant all the way on the right-hand side of 14th Street when you're driving back this way? So the street is, you said the street is, there's lanes for both incoming and right and left traffic. Was he all the way on the right-hand side?
Yes, he was closer to this side, for the oncoming traffic going towards Vicksburg.
Okay, this may be a little easier. May I approach you on?
Yeah,
On your diagram, could you, I guess, show the width of the street and where his car was positioned, and if there's any type of dividing line right here on 14th Street?
Mhm.
You said the traffic goes both ways, right? It's not a one-way street?
No, it's not on the street. It's
Okay.
big enough the street is big enough for two cars to pass, unless another car is on park, how people park in front of people's houses.
Okay.
But,
Could you draw the lanes, right here in your picture? Draw the lanes on 14th Street.
how big I think the street is.
Yeah, relatively.
You don't have, any markers in the street.
You said it doesn't have any markers in the street,
No,
but the street is wide enough to where, each car can stay on their side of the lane. In the street.
it's big enough for this one to be here. And it's big enough for this one to be here.
Okay. Where was the defendant's car? You said it's big enough for two cars to be there. And if the defendant is leaving out of 14th Street, what side of the street would he supposed to be on?
Yeah.
Okay, where was he?
He was closer to here. Like this would have been him, his vehicle.
Okay. He was closer to, so you would say he was closer to,
The front of my car,
as opposed to your across the street neighbor?
on the proper side of the street.
Okay. And with his window rolled down?
Yes,
Okay. So you're saying that he pulled out of his driveway and when he was driving down 14th Street, he's on the side of the street closer to your car as opposed to your across the street neighbor's driveway or curb.
Correct,
Okay. With his window down, pointing the gun.
correct.
And how did how would you describe, the defendant after he pulled off from there? What was his driving, like, what happened? After what we just saw, we can't see what happens after, after the 20 or whatever. What did you see when he drove off?
He drove off and I called my husband because I was shook up because I was afraid for my life. I'm sitting here minding my business. I'm not expecting for nobody to drive up and put no gun. I'm just trying to go on my off day and do what I needed to do. But it just took me off. I was shaken. I was spooked.
And what did you do next?
I called my husband to tell him what happened, and I left and went to the police station, got off the police department.
And what happened when you got to the police station?
When I left,
When you got to the police station?
I told the lady at the window that I was there to file a report because my neighbor just pulled the gun on me in my driveway.
And what happened after that? What did you do after that?
She told me that she took my statement and she called somebody and she said that they would dispatch a unit to my house.
Okay, and was a unit dispatched to your house?
Yes, when I got back home, the officer was at my house.
Okay, so did they dispatch a unit once you got to the police department, or was the unit already dispatched? I'm trying to get a timeline of events. You said you showed up to the window, you told her what happened. Did they then dispatch a unit, or was the unit already dispatched?
I don't know. She told me that she got on the phone. I don't know who she was talking to. She told me that they were going to dispatch a unit. So I stood there for a minute and she said, they're going to dispatch them to your house. And that's when I left and went home.
And what happened when you left?
When I got home, the unit was already there. And the officer was in the house talking with my husband when I got there.
And I would imagine you told the officer who was there what happened?
Yes.
And what did you tell them?
Told her that I was sitting in my driveway. We had just purchased a vehicle a few days prior, and they told us to bring the vehicle back on that day. And I brought it back. They gave us a loaner vehicle. I was driving my husband back home, and I was on my way to run errands, and I stopped so I could pair my phone to the new car, which was new to me because I didn't know, I wasn't familiar with it. And when I looked up, I saw that she was backing out from my peripheral, but I never looked that way. I never did anything. My windows were up. And when I looked up, he was there pointing a gun at me.
And
I was in fear for my life. People do strange things, and I'm at my own house. I don't even know the motive behind it. But it was a threat. I took it as a threat.
how do you know it was a gun?
I'm familiar with a gun. We had to shoot on the range. When I was first trying to get on, as part of the training, you have to shoot a rifle and automatic. So I'm familiar with a gun.
And was this gun a rifle or a pistol?
It was a pistol.
Okay. What color was it?
It was black.
What? Okay. Do you know the make and model?
No, sir.
And is there any way that you could have known what the make and model of the pistol was, something like that?
No, sir. I'm not that familiar with guns, but I knew it was a gun. I knew it was a pistol.
And, did you have a gun at the time?
No, sir.
Okay. So you didn't have a gun with you in the car at that time?
No, sir.
Have you since gotten a gun?
Yes, I did.
And do you have your license?
Yes, I have a license to carry.
And why did you get a gun?
Because I felt like I needed protection. At the sheriff's department, we're short-handed, so we work a lot. And you never know because you get forced. You know, even though I work in visitation, I can still get forced on the unit. And I might not get home until 11:30 at night.
What's forced on you? I'm sorry. Please.
Forced to work a 16-hour shift instead of an 8.
Okay, and,
A double shift, we have to, it'd be a double shift.
okay, and so that caused you to get a pistol or get a gun?
Yes, him pulling that gun on me caused me to get a pistol because I felt I'm in fear of my life. This person that lives right next door to me. I don't know what I'm coming home to. If I stay over and get off at 11:30, I don't know what's on that person's mind.
And did you still have your gun?
Yes.
I guess, how has your daily schedule of life changed since this event?
I asked my husband to stay up until I get home because I don't know what I'm coming into. If he's not there or I'm not there, I asked my son to go to the house and turn the lights on when it get dark. I just try to take precautions. My neighbors look out for me, you know, because I text them and tell them, hey, I gotta work another shift, and they like, okay, what time you get out? And, you know, so I'm trying to use extra precaution just in case, because I don't know.
You have to use extra precautions to go into your house because you're not sure what the defendant's going to be doing when you get home.
That's the way I feel, yes.
And how long have you known the defendant?
Quite a while. It's been, I know, like maybe 40 years.
And just kind of generally, how would you describe your relationship with the defendant?
I don't fool with them at all.
That's it.
Okay. Mr. Robot,
Yes, sir.
witness is yours.
Morning, ma'am. Seeing each other fast in the night so far as you know. Yes, ma'am. My name is Tom Roebuck. We never met, seen each other, passed in the night, or ever been involved with each other ever. Right?
Correct.
Okay. So. Working as a corrections officer, you deal with folks that are not the most sterling individuals on the planet. Is that a fair statement?
They're not what?
The nicest people on the planet, right?
Sometimes you run into some that may not be.
And sometimes they're difficult.
Fortunately, I don't have to deal with those.
Have you ever had to testify before?
No,
You ever had any administrative hearings where you've had to be involved with prisoner complaints, where you had to be questioned in an administrative hearing?
no, sir.
Do you have to tend to details on the visitation part of your job to make sure things are done right?
Correct.
Details are a big deal, right?
Yes, they are.
How many cameras, ma'am, do you have at your house?
4,
What do you do with the pointer? Um,
That would be Mr. Randall's house, is that correct?
that's correct.
Is there a camera over here?
No,
Where is it?
that camera is my doorbell camera.
Not what I asked. Is there a camera on the side of the house?
I have one on the side of the house, but it doesn't face that,
Okay, where does it face?
the back.
So you don't have one on the front of the house.
The doorbell covers the front.
Other than that, you don't have one.
No,
So that means you've got doorbell camera, camera on the back of the house. Correct?
are you asking me where my cameras are placed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have one that covers my driveway. I have one that covers my backyard, and I have one that covers the side of my house.
That's 3.
The doorbell camera is counted as your 4th camera.
So you have one that covers the driveway,
Yes,
covers your entire driveway? Where is it?
up
Where is
to
it?
where the doorbell starts.
Where is it placed? Where is it placed?
It's placed on the side of the house.
Where on the side of the house?
By that window on the side. The window,
Right here,
window,
where that window is,
yes,
and it points this way?
no.
Where does it point?
It covers my driveway that goes all the way back to my garage.
Does it face front or back?
Could you repeat that? I didn't understand what you asked.
Does it face front or back?
It faces all the way to the back, to my garage.
Okay, so you have 2 cameras facing the back.
One covers my driveway, and my other one covers my backyard.
Did you review that camera before you filed this complaint?
Review what camera?
Ma'am, the camera that faces your driveway.
I didn't need to view that one
So that,
because it faces the opposite direction.
I'm just asking you, did you or did you not?
I viewed all of them.
Did you provide any of those to the police department?
They saw them when they came in, but they wanted that one.
So the only one that was provided to the police department is this one.
Correct.
Did you ever, ma'am? Let me back up. So as I understand what happened, this event happened, and instead of calling police, you went down to the police station.
Correct.
And by the time you got back to your house, the police were there.
Correct.
And that would be this lady that walked in the courtroom a while ago.
Correct.
Her name is Simmons, I think. So did you give, when you were at the police station, did you give a written statement?
She told me, the lady at the window said that they would dispatch a unit. I told her what happened when I came in. She called someone. She told them, they said to tell me that they were going to dispatch a unit to my home.
Ma'am, I guess I didn't make myself clear. Did you give a written statement at the police department?
To whom? The lady at the window?
Ma'am, I'm asking the questions. Did you give a written statement or not?
Not that I can recall.
So if you gave a written statement to Officer Simmons, it would have been at your house, right?
Correct.
And did you give one in your own handwriting?
I can't remember, sir.
Approach your-
Yes, you may approach.
Show you what I've marked as exhibit number 1, ma'am, and ask you if that appears to be your handwritten statement.
Yes, that is.
And does that contain your signature?
Yeah, that is my
And
signature.
that is done entirely in your own handwriting, is that right?
That is correct.
And that was given to the police department at or about the time that Ms. or Officer Simmons showed up at your house, is that right?
Yes, that would be correct.
So that would be at a time when these events were fresh in your mind.
That's correct.
Is that correct? Did you tell Officer Simmons that you were backing out of your driveway?
I never said I was backing up because I don't back out of my driveway because I always park back in.
Did you tell Officer Simmons, I was backing out of my driveway?
Or did I say he was backing out of his driveway? I'm just asking.
What does it say?
I
You
don't remember, sir.
read what you said. I've highlighted it for you.
Yeah, I did say backing out.
Okay. That's not true, is it?
At the time, sir, I was really shook up when I got back. Let me just be clear on that.
That's a pretty significant detail. Wouldn't you agree?
If somebody pointed gun at you,
That's a pretty significant detail.
well,
You were driving forward, correct?
correct.
Because after you got down to the police department, you had reviewed the video, right?
Could you repeat that?
After you got down to the police department, you had already reviewed the video.
No,
At what point in time did you review the video?
when the police came to my residence.
That's I'm sorry, the second time you went to the police department. Did you go down and visit with on the 27th to the police department? 2 days later.
I don't recall.
You recall giving a second statement.
To Detective Cousins, but I didn't go to the police station, so they came to
Came to your house.
my house.
And that would have been after you reviewed the video.
I didn't view the video, yes. I viewed the video with the lady that came, that they dispatched to my house. And when Officer Cousins came, I reviewed the video. That's who asked for the video.
So my point is, between the time that you gave the written statement and after you told Officer Simmons you were backing out of the driveway, you reviewed the video and you gave a second statement. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Your Honor, I'd like to play this in real time, not, I don't want to mess with their machine.
It's cool. I'd like us to do what we do with council.
Okay.
Like from the beginning.
Said you're an argument.
Then we won't stop.
See, is that real time?
That's no time.
Did you ever tell the police or anyone that Mr. Randall stopped in front of your house?
He slowed down.
That's not my question. Did you ever tell anyone that he stopped in front of your house?
I don't recall.
May I approach you?
Yes, you may approach.
Let me show you again exhibit number 1. I've highlighted it for you. And read to this jury what you said down there in the second highlighted portion.
Yeah, that's what I wrote in this statement.
Please read to the jury what you said.
You want to read the whole statement?
I want you to read, ma'am, if I can approach you on
Yes.
the part that I've highlighted where you said, I'm sorry. Right here.
Okay. Who stopped in front of my drive.
That didn't happen, did it?
At the time,
Just a yes or no, ma'am. That didn't happen. He didn't stop.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
You were
But
sure,
no, that's what I know. Okay,
you were sure at 1:23 PM after this happened, you were sure.
okay, yes.
You had any issues with Mr. Randall since October the 25th, 2021?
I've had several incidents with Mr. Moon.
You had any issues with him since October the 25th, 2021?
Yes, but I didn't acknowledge it because I was told by a reliable source, whenever I come out the house and he come out cursing and stuff, from now on to start having my recorder ready. So I could record it.
Did you record it?
Well, he didn't do it anymore after that.
That's right. He didn't do anything, did he?
He didn't do it anymore after he did it after the 25th. And I didn't record it because I was told it would be my word against his.
So after the police showed up at about 1:23, Mr. Randall drove up, did he?
Did he do what?
He drove up. He was gone and he drove up. You remember that?
I don't recall.
Did you fill out is there anything in your October the 25th handwritten statement that says you were in fear for your life, concerned, worried, anything like that?
He didn't ask me that, but, no, I don't recall if I put that in there.
Okay. If you did, it would be in here, right?
Right.
Tender exhibit number 1. Dan.
Objection, I do want, a clean copy of the exhibit, not one that got one.
I don't.
We are, if the market states of the one, we just asked for a clean copy, not a highlighted copy, that's an alternate copy. That's not something that was done by the witness.
Let's make a copy of yours. I don't have no copy.
But if the court allows us to do that for counsel, we would do that, but if we just object to the form in which we're trying to admit is an alternate copy with.
So somebody has a clean copy?
We can look at it, we can get one, Judge, but we would object to, it is a state one, I mean, defensive one at this time.
Okay, objection sustained.
And we'll get a copy for that, Judge. We'd like to continue, or we can do it now. It's either
I
way.
think he needs it, you need it now. Is that correct?
As long as we have an understanding that it's going to be admitted.
Okay, so,
We have no objection, as long as it's a clean copy without any alternate.
okay,
And we'll supply that, for the next break, we'll get that.
okay, so that's defense exhibit number 1. No objections, it's admitted.
Did you also bear in mind that you told me that details are important, especially if you're trying to charge somebody with a crime? You would agree with that, right?
I didn't
I
understand.
said, bear in mind that you told me, and you, more important, you told these folks on the jury, that details are important, right? Especially if you're gonna charge somebody with a crime. You'd agree with that, right?
The details are important. Yes, they are.
Did you also fill out an assault form?
All
An assault form? I don't want to blindside you now, approach your honor.
Yes. Yeah.
You recognize that document? Exhibit number, is that 2?
Yeah, I recognize that. Yes, I recognize that, document.
It's a form you filled out, right?
I don't think that's, let me see that again. please.
Sure.
I signed it. Yes, I did.
Well, and it's also got your handwriting, where you filled in the blank. Right?
I put my initials and I signed it.
Okay. Is that your handwriting? All these blanks that are filled in,
No,
that's not your handwriting? None of this is?
no, but that is.
I'm sorry, that being.
My signature and my initials is my handwriting.
So the only portion of this that contains your handwriting is Your signature, is that right?
And my initials, those were my initials.
And did you read it before you signed it?
I was too upset that day. I don't know. I don't know. I don't recall.
Did you, in that statement, say that you've been caused pain and bodily injury?
Did I say I was caused pain and bodily injury?
Yes, ma'am.
No, I did not.
So
I don't recall.
if that's what you swore to in this statement, that would be inaccurate, right?
I don't recall swearing to bodily injury.
May I approach you?
Yes, ma'am.
Read that part right there. Tell us, jury, what you said.
It's a deadly conduct gun pointed at me,
And
which caused me pain and bodily injury. It did cause me pain because I was upset.
didn't cause you bodily injury, didn't cause you physical pain, did it?
It caused me, excuse me,
Didn't cause you physical pain, did it?
oh no, because I'm still in fear for my life today.
So we have to review, ma'am. We have you saying that you were backing out of your driveway. Which is not true, correct?
I was moving forward in my driveway.
That's not my question. We have you saying in a sworn statement that you were backing out of your driveway.
That I backed out.
That's not true.
That was,
It's not true.
I was upset.
Okay.
I
That's
was
not,
distraught. I know that's not your question, but I don't recall a lot of things that was written on all those papers
except,
on that day.
except the one detail that's so important was this gun that we don't have, that we can't see, and we've never found. It's not in the video. You're sure about that?
Oh, I know a gun, sir, and I know when one is pointed at me.
But you're not sure which direction you were going.
What the camera showed it. That's why I provided the proof.
You were not sure which direction you were going when you gave this written statement, ma'am, right?
I was sure of the direction I was going, but I wasn't backing out. True.
And when you said he was stopped pointing the weapon at you, that's not true either, is it?
I don't recall if he stopped or not. As I stated, I was looking down, I wasn't looking up. All I saw was a gun, sir. I do apologize for whatever the inconvenience was. But all I saw was a gun and I was upset.
And as Forrest Gump says, for no particular reason, you just happened to look up just at the right time.
He was in my periphery the whole time. Just because I didn't acknowledge it doesn't mean that I didn't see it.
How is he in your peripheral when he's in front of you?
Excuse me?
How is in your peripheral when he's in front of you? Peripheral's outside.
I need the glasses when I'm driving. I need them for driving.
Can you see an arm sticking out of that car in that video? You can't, can you?
I never really paid that much attention to it.
I'm sorry.
I really didn't watch the video in detail such as that, but I can go back and do that.
Now's your opportunity. You're the one that wants to put this man in jail for a year, ma'am. Don't you think it's important? Don't you think it's important to get your details right?
Your Honor. inappropriate, she never testified to anything about punishment, put him into jail with this, Your Honor.
Okay,
Cross-examination, yeah.
I'm sustain the objection.
It's not there, yeah. I think that's all I have.
Mr. Johnson?
Thank you. Okay, there were a couple of things that council, had questions about that I want to kind of revisit. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So let's start with the cameras on your house. You testified that you had 4 cameras on your house, correct?
Correct. And the vivid people said it's 4 cameras because they said the doorbell counts as a camera.
Okay, okay. And this is the doorbell, correct?
Correct.
So on the diagram behind you, can you, I think you have your driveway right there. Could you also, show where your garage is and just how far back your, driveway goes? Cause it looks like this camera angle cuts off some of your driveway. Could you, maybe just draw a little bit where your garage is and, how far your driveway goes back?
It goes all the way back past the house.
Mhm,
The garage is a standalone,
mhm.
like back here.
This
Might be a little bit further back.
Okay. And so this camera is pointing obviously from where we can see to the street. And I believe you testified that you have a camera on the right side of your house. That
Right where that window is
Uh-huh.
a camera, right on that ledge up here
okay,
by that window.
You
And
can
when
give it a
this
farm.
one cuts, off, that driveway camera go that way and pick up.
okay,
The other camera is right here. But it's on the outside of this. And
okay,
it faces all the way back to this garage, our driveway.
okay. And you testified that when counsel asked, did you review or give the police the video from the side of the house? I think you testified that the video didn't show anything because while this view shows from this part of the house to the street,
That's
I think-
flagrant leading, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Objection sustained.
you testified that the camera on your side of your house faces backwards.
Leading again.
I think he's repeating what she stated.
Your Honor,
Objection overruled.
could you show us on the diagram the view of the camera on the side of your house, on the right side of your house? Like what it would capture?
It would capture all of this driveway, all the way. There's a carport, then there's a driveway,
Okay,
I mean, the garage. And it captures all the way from that. All of this back here. And some of this, it's like a angle like that.
okay.
That goes.
Would it have captured this?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. And then you testified that you have a camera on the back of your house and then,
On the other side, the left side.
okay, okay. And again, why do you have these cameras?
Well, at the time I got those cameras installed, I got them installed because my father, it was before he passed away,
Yes, ma'am.
and he was sick. And they had a caregiver that was coming, because I had cameras inside the house as well.
Mhm.
Because I had to work. And my dad, you know, he was bedridden then. And so I wanted to know what was going on with my father while I wasn't there.
And again, this is your childhood house, correct? This is your childhood, home?
Yes,
Okay. And so why, again, why didn't, well, let me back up. Did Port Arthur Police Department, did you give them this video? I mean, the video from like all around the house, I guess?
yes, they saw all of it.
Okay.
But they asked for that one.
Okay. Okay, I want to talk about, because we had, council asked you a bunch of questions about, details. What's the most important to you? What is the most important detail about this incident?
The most important detail to me is I was facing a gun.
Do you know if there were dogs walking on the street, or do you remember any, do you remember if there were dogs walking on the street that day?
I
During this time?
don't recall.
Do you know if anyone, if any of your other neighbors walked outside?
I didn't see anyone.
But you testified that you were sitting in your drive, I mean, you testified that you were in your driveway when this happened, right?
Correct.
I guess what I'm trying to understand is, council asked you questions about, statements that you gave to the police about, you were backing out of your driveway, versus,
Moving forward out of the
moving
driveway.
forward out of your driveway.
Mhm. There was a misplay on words on my part. I was upset when those people came. I was still in shock. I was scared. I was fearful. You know, half of that stuff, you know, maybe I did misplay the words, you know, but I was just trying to explain why I could, what happened.
And do you believe that what you have told the officers has been consistent, despite what you call it a misplay on words or misspoken? Do you believe that the substantive allegations that you gave to the police have remained constant or consistent?
Yes,
And what are those significant, consistent facts or allegations that you provided to the police officer?
that this person put the gun on me. And I was in fear. I was upset. I don't know what happened before that, because I had my head down. And all I know is when I looked up, I guess it was intuition. When I looked up, a gun was pointed at me. And I was upset when I called my husband. And he knew I was upset, you know, and I had to compose myself to even drive to the police station.
Okay, and so what you're saying, you looked up, that was the significant fact that you looked up and saw a gun.
Correct.
Do you think it was a significant fact at the time you were giving this statement, whether you use the word or the phrase backing up or backing out or pulling out? Do you think that was a significant part of what you were telling the officer?
I didn't really think, I guess I really didn't think so. I was upset. And when I get upset, you know, I don't know about anyone else, but when I get upset, I don't know.
And, your testimony that you were upset because someone put a gun, you looked up and saw a gun. Or pointed at you.
I never had no one point a gun at me in my whole 61 years on this earth.
And I guess the second, I guess issue or wording that the council questioned you on was stopping versus slowing down.
Right.
Do you believe that that was a significant fact when you were describing your experience to the police officer? Do you think it was a significant fact that you used stopping versus slowing down?
I didn't think so at the time.
But again, so your testimony is what was significant was that he was in front of you and it was a gun pointed at you.
And put the gun on me. That's all I could, you know, like I said, I don't, my head was down. I looked up and a gun pointed at me and I lost it at that point. I mean, I don't know what else I could say.
Okay, I'm going to play the video again, and I'm going to ask you to describe, I guess, the vehicle's speed, or describe how you would characterize the vehicle's speed. Do you, how would you describe the way the defendant was driving? How would you describe it when you testified
Slowly,
and the positioning of his car again? You testified that you thought it was closer.
The video speaks for itself.
Your Honor,
Play it, let him play it.
Objection overruled. You may proceed.
and the positioning, so you just testified that he was driving slowly, and you testified earlier that he was on your side of the street or on the side of the street close to your house, that's the opposite way you're supposed to be driving. So your testimony is he was driving slowly close to you, and then you looked up. May I approach you on?
Yes, you may.
Mr. Fisher, I'm handing you what's been previously marked as exhibit 2 through 8. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is this a fair and accurate depiction of your residence, 1730 14th Street, on October 25th, 2021, the date and time of, the present issue?
Yes, sir.
And do these videos show, do these photographs show, what was just shown on the video as far as, the defendant at different times, pulling out, driving in front of your car and then driving off?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Your Honor, I'm tendering, these exhibits to counsel for, inspection and move to, admit the evidence, admit the exhibits into evidence. 2 through 8, six exhibits 2 through 8.
Okay, two, Your Honor. The rest of them are exact duplicates, so they're duplicitous of exhibit number 2. So it puts undue weight on the relevance of these by offering the same exhibit in multiple pictures. So I would object to 3 through 8.
Your Honor, the exhibit shows, screenshots at different times, the photograph of screenshots at different times, so they aren't the same. And I mean, they show the same setting, Your Honor, because it's a screenshot of a movie video, but
Yes,
they're
yes,
at different time.
may I see the exhibits?
Actually, Judge, I would draw that objection.
Oh, okay. So you have no objections to state's exhibits 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 being admitted? Mr. Robo, you have no objections to
No,
state's
I'm sorry.
exhibit, no objections? Okay. So state's exhibits 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are admitted.
And Your Honor, we're asking, we're offering, to publish them for all purposes.
Okay, you may publish. Mr.
And we don't have an Elmo machine at this time, but, we would put them up, so that I can kind of talk through them with you, but, we're giving them, we publish them into evidence so the jury will be able to see them, during deliberations. Okay, I want to move on to, we're just talking about the significant details. Counsel asked you a question about, has the defendant, Mr. Randall, done anything since this event? And you testified no, correctly? I'm correct. You testified that he hasn't done anything since this event?
He did, but it's power against his because I didn't have the proof.
Okay,
I don't have proof.
and has he done a bunch of things, or?
You know,
Okay. And since this event, has the defendant been under charges for deadly conduct? Has he been under charges for deadly conduct since this event? Has the defendant?
Objection, speculation.
Your Honor,
Oh, okay. Now the deadly conduct, I assume you're talking about this case?
yes, sir.
Objection overruled.
I'm just saying she's speculating. She doesn't know what he's been charged with or not.
Do you know that?
Or how long?
Do you know that?
I'm gonna rule your objection.
You understand that the defendant is charged with deadly conduct in this case, right?
Yes,
And, he's had those charges pending since you brought your case, and filed your complaint and your charges with the police. You understand that, right?
yes.
How do you think that has affected his behavior since having
Well,
that
that's
charge?
pure speculation, Judge.
Objection sustained.
In your mind, let me rephrase this question. Do you think these charges with deadly conduct, have affected the way you, conducted your daily life since then? Since making these allegations, do you think it's affected your life in the way that you perceive your everyday life?
Yes, it has.
And you said that you testified that you wanted to avoid, since this incident, you wanted to make sure to avoid the defendant if you could, right?
Yes, yes, and I do.
Okay. And so you said, counsel asked you about how many times did you go to the police station regarding this event?
One time,
And that was right after it happened?
correct,
You said you called your husband and you went to the police station.
correct.
Where's your husband today?
He's in San Angelo, Texas, be dropping a load, in the truck,
Okay,
and he should be back sometime tonight, but
so he's out working, out of town working,
yes, he's working at the time,
or would he be here if he wasn't working?
yes. He was trying to make it back, but the truck broke down last night, so they couldn't make it back, they were stuck in San Angelo.
And I was saying, San Angelo, about 8 hours or something away or something like that.
Yes,
That's what
Mr. Robot? You may proceed.
What's your normal work week, ma'am?
it's
What is your normal work week?
a normal work week for us is anywhere from we work about
Maybe that's a difficult question. Let me ask it another way. You said you were off on the day this allegedly happened, right?
correct.
Were you off the next day?
No, I was not.
Did you work the next day?
Yes, I did.
And were you off the day after that?
No,
So you worked the next day.
correct.
So your state of mind was such that you were able to go to work those next 2 days. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So when the police came back out to your house on the 27th, Yes. On 10/27, when the other detective came out, you had been able to go to work and work the next 2 days, so your emotional state was such that you were able to function. Right,
No, because that's when they gave me time off.
but you worked the next 2 days.
Yeah, they gave me time off after that because they said I was too shook up.
So did you then, on the 27th, say that Mr. Randall stopped in front of your house?
I don't recall, but I guess it was the same report that they took from the, first time.
Well, actually, that's not correct. Further, Your Honor.
Yes,
That statement contained your signature.
Yeah, it's my signature.
And did you say in that statement that Mr.
He
Randall,
was driving out. I was driving out, correct?
did you say that he stopped in front of your house?
Yeah,
You did say that. Right? You did say that.
can you say that again?
I said you did say that on the 27th that he'd stopped in front of your house then too.
No,
You didn't?
no.
May I approach again?
Yeah. Say I was driving,
Does it say, did you say, ma'am, on the 27th, Leo Randall Jr. was backing out of the driveway at 1742 14th Street. Randall was driving a red Chrysler 300 four-door. Randall was traveling on 14th Street and stopped in the street in front of my driveway.
I don't know.
Did you say that? So. Let me show you exhibits 2 through 8. Need to look at them for a minute, that's okay.
You want me to look at it for what?
I just want you to make sure that you've had a chance to look at them, make sure they're accurate.
Yeah, it looked like he was slowly driving,
Exactly,
like I said,
exactly.
yeah.
They don't look like he stopped, do they?
I'll think it just screens there, come up with it.
okay.
Spoliation.
Object to that objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Roebuck and Mr. Johnson. It's that little after 12, might be time for us to take a break. We could let the jury break for lunch. And they can be back here at, say, 1:30. Okay? So at this time, everyone, please stand. The court is gonna be in recess. We're gonna break for lunch. We'll have the jury to come back at 1:30. And please remain in the hall.
And right when the time, before you come in, you go down the stairs.
Is it, court will be in recess?